You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
You are watching the leaders in full immersion gaming, and this is the pregame show only on the NBL Network.
It's championship week here in the NBL, folks, and we get underway tonight with the AFC Championship game between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before we get to that, though, we have, as always, our NBL live pregame show, and that's brought to you each and every week by our graphics sponsor. That's web3ks.com. They do that overlay you see here on NBL Live. A ton of other graphics for us. Big shout-out to all bidders over at web3ks.com. If you or anyone you know needs graphics done for an affordable price, just head over to web3ks.com. They are the leaders in affordable graphic design. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. I'm always you, and it's a lonely day here on the NBL Live set, but it's championship week. I'm pumped. Big shout out to our producer behind the scenes, Delvar, for hopping in tonight and helping me out with this show. We got a great game on tap between the Chargers and the Steelers. Let's take a look at the players to watch tonight. First, on the side of the Los Angeles Chargers, and who else would it be but their quarterback, Phillip Rivers. Rivers having a nice season so far, 67% completion percentage, which is something I don't think a lot of people expected out of Phillip Rivers. Getting up there in age, a lot of people talking more about retirement than Super Bowl, but he's having a nice season, 21 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, quarterback rating just under 100 at 97.4, 3,200 passing yards. And Phillip Rivers is going to have to be good today because at the end of the day, we saw this Chargers team. They squeaked out a victory against the Tennessee Titans in one of the best games I've seen on NBL Live. If you haven't checked that out, head over to the YouTube channel. Check that one out. Phillip Rivers, though, is going to have to carry a lot of this load with Melvin Gordon because at the end of the day, this defense is not the same defense we've seen from the Chargers all year. No Joey Bosa, no Melvin Ingram. The defensive line was not able to get pressure yesterday against the Tennessee Titans, and they're going up against a much tougher team in the Pittsburgh Steelers today. Let's take a look at their player to watch. And who else would it be but Ben Roethlisberger? Big Ben still slinging it. And this may be the best season I've ever seen Ben Roethlisberger have. Look at these numbers. He's completing 75% of his passes, 35 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 144.6. He is 10 away from having a perfect quarterback rating. Ben Roethlisberger, an unbelievable year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, this doesn't even mention the fact that they have one of the best running backs in the game in Le'Veon Bell. This Steelers team, this offense, it's been running on all cylinders all season long. The Pittsburgh Steelers are clearly one of the best teams in the NBL. They certainly deserve to be here in the AFC Championship game, and Ben Roethlisberger's big reason to say that. Now, the question is going to become as to whether this Pittsburgh Steelers defense can stop the Los Angeles Chargers enough to allow Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell to pull away, and that's where we're going to get our prediction for this game from yours truly. And again, folks, if you're in the chat, post your prediction in the chat. I'll be reading that throughout the first quarter. But let's I love this Chargers team. I do. I said from the beginning, and I have experience being in the Chargers division, this Chargers team is one of the best teams in the NBL. But without Joey Bosa and without Melvin Ingram, this defense just doesn't have the teeth that it used to. And I think this Pittsburgh Steelers team is really good, and Ben Roethlisberger is playing at an unbelievable level. I think the Steelers are going to come out on top of this one, and I think this one is going to be a big one. I think the Steelers come away with a victory today. I'm going to sit there and say I'm going to go Pittsburgh 35, Los Angeles 21. I think it's a 2-score win for the Steelers, and they're going to go for yet another NBL Super Bowl title. But get your predictions in the chat, folks. I'd love to hear from you guys. We're ready for game time. Championship week underway. A quick scheduling note. We will not be doing a doubleheader tonight. The NFC Championship game will be tomorrow night. I'll confirm that time. You can just hit that subscribe button so you know when we go live, or check out the Twitter at Bomber League for the actual game time. But that will be tomorrow night. So back-to-back nights, and then the Super Bowl will still be on Monday night. But we're ready for game time here on NBL Live, and we got a great one coming up for you folks. Appreciate you tuning into the NBL Live pregame show. Coming up next, it's time to fill one of those berths in the Super Bowl for season 27. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Los Angeles Chargers battling out today in the AFC Championship, and it's coming up right now here on NBL Live.
My name is Rex Dixon.
Craig Stein.
Clint from EA Sports.
You're watching NBL.
You're watching the NBL Network.
And you're watching the MBLN Network.
empty backfield for Atkins. He's going to be dropping back to pass here on 4th down. He's looking deep over the middle. He has a man. It's Brandon Cooks who catches it, makes a man miss.
Oh, that's
Woodard is dropping back. He's got open over the middle.
Wow. That big playmaker ability as he finds him again.
Into the end zone. Another touchdown. Championship week is underway, folks, and we've got a great game on tap for you tonight. It's the AFC Championship game. It's the Los Angeles Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. What a game we have on tap, folks. Appreciate you tuning into NBL Live broadcast number 148. I'm OSU. I'm hanging out with my man, OSU. He's a great guy. He really is going to do some great color commentary today. What a great game we have on tap. We appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. NFC Championship game tomorrow night, but we're going to fill one of those Super Bowl berths tonight here on NBL Live. It looks like it's going to be the Los Angeles Chargers starting with the ball first, and a great opportunity to get a little momentum in this game. Again, the Chargers a little banged up, especially on the defensive side of the ball. No Joey Bosa, no Melvin Ingram, so they are hurting on the defensive line, and we saw it yesterday against Tennessee. They struggled to get to the quarterback, gave Marcus Mariota a lot of time, and because of that, Mariota was really able to have a nice game, and if it weren't for some heroics at the end of the game by Phillip Rivers, this Titans team would be here in the AFC Championship game. It's a 1st and 10, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers for Phillip Rivers. He's got Melvin Gordon in the backfield. 1st and 10, Rivers dropping back to pass. He's looking over to the left side, and that one a little off target. He was looking for Keenan Allen on the post route. Short arm that one a little bit, going to bring up a 2nd and 10. See some of those predictions we got going in the chat. 31-17 Steelers from Bombers #1 fan, a.k.a. Bombers alternate account. Hopology, 28-10 Pittsburgh. Play a 31-17 Pittsburgh. A lot of people going Pittsburgh in this game, and an opportunity as an underdog for the LA Chargers. Sometimes that take pressures off a team, and with a guy like Melvin Gordon, you never know what will happen as they do hand it off to Gordon here on 2nd down. He'll get a couple 2 yards, bringing up a 3rd and 8. Also some injuries on the offensive line for the Chargers. Both of their tackles, so really they're having just injuries all over in the trenches. Their left tackle and right tackle out for this game. They've been out for a while, but Melvin Gordon found some success between the guards last night. We'll see if they continue to do that today. Now a 3rd and 8 coming up for the Los Angeles Chargers, looking to set up some momentum early. 4 wide receivers out there, 2 to each side. Melvin Gordon in the backfield. 3rd down. Phillip Rivers dropping back to pass. He'll toss this underneath. It is complete to the tight end, Henry, and Henry will have the 1st down up to the 40-yard line. Nice recognition by Rivers. Everybody was moving one way, the tight end moving across the formation. And because of that, the zone defense got pulled to the right side. He throws it back left, and Henry with a nice tackle and a nice breakaway speed to get around the edge and get the 1st down. Now at 1st and 10 for the LA Chargers. They're up to the 40-yard line looking to get some early momentum, to put some points on the board. As we're nearing the 5-minute mark here in the 1st quarter. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. Allen split out to the left. Williams, the hero from last night, out to the right. Quick 3-step drop for Phillip Rivers. Nobody open, but he's going to get rid of this one. He finally finds Williams, who catches it at the opposing 40-yard line. Give him 20 yards on the play. A great blocking up front, just some slant action there, and had to wait for both of the receivers to come open because of that cover one. The linebacker playing in the middle of that defense, but Williams finally came all across the formation. Rivers able to get it off just in time, and the LA Chargers offense moving early in this game. First and 10 for the Chargers once again. 2 wide receivers over to the left side, 1 over to the right. Melvin Gordon in at halfback. It's a 1st and 10. They're going to hand it off to Melvin Gordon. He's got a big hole. He's got 1st down, breaks through a tackle. He gets up to the 24-yard line, 16 yards on the play. And as I said, They had a lot of success yesterday against the Titans running between the guards, between the tackles, not trying to get Gordon outside because of those injuries. And right there, great job opening up a hole. It was just a simple dive play, and Gordon hits that hole hard. He's able to show some muscle off and get up to the 24-yard line, 16 yards on the play. Now 1st and 10 for the LA Chargers. Once again, Phillip Rivers comes out under center. 2 wide receivers, Melvin Gordon in at tailback. 1 tight end on the right side of the formation. That is Hunter Henry. As Rivers surveys the defense, 1st down, he's going to hand off to Melvin Gordon. Tries to cut it up the inside. Look at him keep driving forward. Oh, man, he was down at the line of scrimmage, but he uses those legs to drive forward. He gets 3 yards. We'll call it a long 2, bring up a 2nd and 8. Yeah, big shout out to one of our mods in the chat, Porter. His Redskins, a magical run. It came to an end, but Porter... nothing to be ashamed about. The Porter curse is officially over here on NBL Live. On 2nd and 8, it's a handoff to Melvin Gordon, looking to get some room on the outside, and he's going to get a little bit up to the 17-yard line. That wide receiver could have held his block a little longer. Gordon had a lot of green space in front of him. It's going to bring him a big 3rd and 3. Opportunity for both teams to set the tone early. Third and 3 for the LA Chargers. Ball on the 17-yard line, just moving into the red zone. They want to get these 3 yards. They want to get a touchdown here on the road. Quiet this crowd down. So Phillip Rivers comes out. He's got 3 wide receivers, 2 over the right, 1 over the left, 1 tight end on the left side of that formation. On 3rd down, they're going to try to run it with that looks like that's Brandon Oliver into the game. And he does not get enough. He'll get 2. It's going to bring up a 4th and 1 for the LA Chargers, and that's a tough play there. Surprised you don't see Melvin Gordon on that one as the field goal is up, and it is good. LA gets the first points of the game. They're up 3-0. Ah, crap. Bombers here. Ah, boy.
Why the long face, OSU?
Nah, I'm always excited to see the big bomber, man. What's going on, man? How's your night going?
All right, had to cut my movie short with my wife. I saw you're the only guy in here, man, and I thought I had some insight I could bring to this what looks to be a great game from Melvin Gordon starting early on, man. He just seems to have a lot of energy, and I'm surprised he didn't get any carries on that last play. It ended up settling for a field goal.
Yeah, look, Brandon Oliver is cool and all, but you got to give the ball to your big man, Melvin Gordon, in those tight situations. Now, 1st and 10, we get an opportunity to see this explosive Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And Ben Roethlisberger is going to take the snap here on 1st and 10. He's going to toss this one underneath. It is complete. We're going to get about 5 on the play, just up to the 30-yard line. But this is something, Bomber, that I think Pittsburgh does so well. It's why Ben Roethlisberger has so much success. They don't try to do too much early. They try to get Ben Roethlisberger in that rhythm with some easy reads. And once Ben Roethlisberger gets into a rhythm, it's tough to stop him.
Yeah, a lot of times with Pittsburgh, you saw it in the Colts game that they played earlier in the divisional round. We saw Pittsburgh kind of go with the balanced attack to start the game, and then when that didn't really work out, they couldn't get Bell going. Ben went from those short intermediate throws to bombing it deep down the field, and it got real dangerous really quickly.
And that's a beautiful throw down the field. One of those intermediate routes, man coverage, and when you've got man coverage on the outside, Ben Roethlisberger just knows how to pick apart the defense. That's 16 yards on the play up to the 46-yard line. You're already seeing why this Pittsburgh Steelers offense is the best in the NBL.
And that's actually their leading receiver right there, Martavis Bryant, 51 catches, 872 yards, and 8 touchdowns. But don't think he's the only option there. It's pretty much pick your poison, as you said. Javier Howard, the rookie, he's got 10 touchdowns on 41 catches. And then there's the ever-so-dangerous Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. They really do have it all on the offensive end.
Yeah, as Bell gets his first touch of the game, he's going to go backwards for 2 yards. But Bomber, I mean, how do you deal with so many weapons? I mean, it just feels like if you try to double up one receiver, you try to focus on Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger is just going to kill you in other ways. Is it just you have to keep up and hold on for dear life?
Yeah, I mean, it really is tough. You try to think, how can I get ahead on this against this offense? But really, you can't. You just have to play each play by down and distance and just hope that this team makes a mental mistake and you can capitalize on it.
And there's one of those big throws from Ben Roethlisberger deep down the field to the 28-yard line. It's another first down. And Ben Roethlisberger's been here before. He knows how to play in championship games. He knows how to play on the big stage, and he has the home crowd behind him. He looks super confident out there. Looks like the guy who we saw all season with that quarterback rating of 144 on the year. Unbelievable for an entire year to have that high of a quarterback rating. He comes out in the shotgun. He's been driving back to pass once again here on 1st and 10. Looking over to the left side. It's complete, and it's going to get to the end zone. First touchdown of the day. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it didn't even look like there was a defense out there against him. It looked like Ben Roethlisberger was in practice mode, getting down the field with ease.
Yeah, and that was a nice throw by Ben right there. And that's the problem with running man against them. You absolutely have to run man defense against. That was Marcus Wheaton with the touchdown, number 12, I believe. And that was his 6th on the season. He had 5 during the regular season. But here's the problem with running man. You have to do it to give Big Ben different looks, or he's going to seam you to death, he's going to drag you, and he's going to post you down the field. But the only issue is he can destroy man as well. So it's kind of, you have to just hope that he makes a mental error, and that's exactly what this Los Angeles Chargers defense is going to try to do. And let's remember, ownership, when they came from Washington last Madden cycle, they came to LA, and they said they're bringing defense back to the Chargers. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup as the game progresses, but I expected this from Pittsburgh on their first drive.
Yeah, now a 1st and 10 for the LA Chargers. Looking to answer that early touchdown. I formation. Going to hand it off to Melvin Gordon. He's got a hole on the right side. Cuts it to the outside. He has a 1st down and more. Give him 19 yards on the play up to the 43-yard line. And that's what the LA Chargers can counter with, Bomber. And that's what this LA Chargers team is equipped to do. With Melvin Gordon, they really can win the time of possession battle and keep the ball out of the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense.
You know, there's a couple halfbacks in the NBL that I look to. Dalvin Cook, Thomas Rawls, Le'Veon Bell, but man, this Melvin Gordon, he just might be, somehow he's found a way to maintain himself being underrated. I know he had 1,400 yards, 15, 16 touchdowns this year, but he might be the best halfback in the league, and he might have it by a good stretch. And I say that because of this. I absolutely love Dalvin Cook. I think he's a touchdown scoring machine. But what Melvin Gordon can do between the tackles, as you said, he can also do outside the tackles, and he can bounce it outside. This guy can truly do it all.
And that versatility is what makes Melvin Gordon so dangerous. Maybe a little West Coast bias there. Not a lot of people seeing the LA Chargers play on a week-to-week basis, but Melvin Gordon is one to watch, folks. I'm telling you, he's one of the best backs in the league. Maybe somehow the best out there, as it looks like it's Brandon Oliver getting this carry. He's got the 1st down and more. Going to get up to the 41-yard line. Oliver unable to get the 1st down on that play inside of the red zone, but right there showed off a little bit of that quickness. And I think that's what they like out of this Gordon-Oliver punch, is that Melvin Gordon is going to get the brunt of the carries. But when they bring in Brandon Oliver, Bomber, they feel like they got a really capable back out there.
Absolutely. 37 attempts this season, 236 yards, 6.4 yards per carry, and 5 touchdowns for Brandon Oliver. Let me give you a little insight on how great Brandon Oliver has been for this team. Brandon Oliver is the kind of guy that comes in, gives Gordon a little bit of a breather, and what he can do is just make the right read off the tackle, as he did on that first run that he had right there.
1st and 10 for the LA Chargers. I formation. Philip Rivers dropping back to pass. Looks like they're setting up a little screen, and it's well blocked out there. Melvin Gordon's got the 1st down and more. One man to beat, and he is taken down to the 24-yard line. But that's one of those things, Bomber, we talk about Melvin Gordon getting touches. We talk about how important that is for the LA Chargers. It's not just in the run game, though. He's a very capable back to receive out of the backfield. Really, once you get the ball in Melvin Gordon's hands, look out. He could be going to the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, this is the closest thing they've had since LaDainian Tomlinson ran for this franchise many NFL years ago. Melvin Gordon seems to be able to do it all, and he has all the tools to get it done. But how clutch was Philip Rivers in the divisional round against the Tennessee Titans? I wasn't here to talk about that, but he looked phenomenal on that final drive. What a throw he made to the post route, and he put it high and away, man, and that's what you have to do for a receiver like that to go make a play.
I mean, I've been here for a lot of these NBL Live games since about broadcast number 43. I think that may be one of the most iconic plays I've ever seen on NBL Live. That's one I'm going to remember for years to come. Yeah. And Bomber, the big part of that is because it just came down to the playoffs. This is a big stage.
It came down in the playoffs. It came in the final seconds of the game. If you haven't checked that game out, after this game, go back and watch the Los Angeles Chargers, Tennessee Titans divisional round game. It was broadcast yesterday, and it was a thriller down to the final seconds. You won't, as a clothesline right there.
Whoa.
Wow. Was the
looking like JBL out there.
Wow. The clothesline from hell?
The clothesline from hell.
A little wrestling reference for the guys out there. I'm kind of thinking I know who Bomber's #1 fan is. And I could be wrong, but
Bomber, don't fake it. We all know it's you.
I think it's Drago. If he starts liking the wrestling stuff, I know it's him. I have a feeling, and that's just my gut right now. I could absolutely be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time.
3rd and 5 here for the Los Angeles Chargers. They're going to come out bunch formation to the left, one tight end on the right side of that formation. Melvin Gordon is in the game here on 3rd and 5. Let's see what they decide to do. They tried to run on 3rd and 3 on the last drive. We're unable to get it with Brandon Oliver on 3rd and 5. They're going to hand it off to Melvin Gordon, and the run game can't get him the first down once again. Only 2 yards on the play. It's going to bring about 4th and 3. They're going to be forced to settle for another field goal. And Bomber, I can tell you from watching enough of these games with the Pittsburgh Steelers, this offense is good enough that if you're trading field goals for touchdowns, you're going to get behind early.
Absolutely. You know, you look at these two teams and you think Pittsburgh's going to put up a lot of points. So what the Chargers have to do is when they're scoring, they make sure that they're getting in the end zone. So far, they've scored twice. They got 6 points. That actually happened to me versus the Seattle Seahawks early in this playoffs in the wild card round. I was scoring at the same rate as him, but I wasn't putting in the touchdowns, and he put in a touchdown more than me. He ended up defeating me 20-16. So these things pay off. So when we look in the second half or as the game progresses and we see, okay, Pittsburgh's up a little bit, we're going to look back at these 2 field goals. Right there, Melvin Gordon had an opportunity to take that run outside. I don't know if you saw it, but it looked like he had a lot of room. Kind of made a bad decision and ran up the middle, and it kind of cost him some big yards as Le'Veon Bell gets stuck behind number 73.
Yeah, Bell's only going to get a couple yards in play. Give him 2, going to bring up a 2nd and 8. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, that's it's interesting to watch these games that the Pittsburgh Steelers play because it feels like they play the same pattern. It is Ben Roethlisberger gets going early underneath or intermediate routes, starts bombing it downfield. Then they end up, all of a sudden, you're looking at a game where Pittsburgh's up 21-7, something like that. They just give it to Le'Veon Bell, let him do the rest of the work. So we'll see if the Chargers can sort of break that mold as they're finally able to get some pressure on the quarterback. It's a sack on the play by Lugit, and they're going to bring him down to a 3rd and 15. And, Bob, that was something the Chargers' defensive line was not able to do yesterday. Get any sort of pressure on Marcus Mariota. They get a sack today.
Yeah, that's big. Corey Lugit needs to come up, and he needs to make those plays. As Big Ben had a guy on the drag wide open, he could have made the throw, but the pressure got there very quickly. Now a 3rd and 15. Now you're going to ask yourself as a defensive coordinator for the Chargers, do I send the heat? Or do I play coverage? And if you play coverage and you only blitz 3, rush 3, you might be in trouble against the Steelers because too much time in the pocket always proves to be detrimental for the defense.
Yeah, we all know how good Ben Roethlisberger is when he has time in the pocket. 3rd and 15, they're just going to hand the ball off to Le'Veon Bell. A big hit at the 21-yard line on Bell. It's going to bring about 4th and 14. A surprisingly conservative call from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Bomber. We've seen this Pittsburgh Steelers team, even when they're in 3rd and longs, they love to air it out. This time they played a little conservatively, and the LA Chargers, they were prepared for that one and bring down Bell and force a punt.
Well, there's 2 Pittsburgh Steelers teams we're going to see today. It's the first half Steelers and the second half Steelers. As this guy's been returning punts all season long, he tries to get a little cute.
That was weird.
To the outside. I don't know what that was.
Would not have recommended that move.
Absolutely. But you get the first half Steelers and the second half Steelers. The first half on 3rd and long, they're going to run the ball right there. The second half, they're going to air it out, and that's when they get really, really dangerous. They try not to get themselves in any kind of bad spots and play some field position early, but they're going for the jugular in the second half, and I'll expect a different outcome and a different play call in the second half of this game.
High formation for the for the LA Chargers. It's going to be Phillip Rivers dropping back to pass here on 1st and 10, looking great protection, but eventually the pocket closes around him, and Bud Dupree able to bring down Phillip Rivers for a sack. 6-yard loss on the play. Just looked like right there was plenty of time, but nobody got open downfield, and Rivers takes the arm tackle, and he's able to go down, and that's a tough loss because it looked like the protection was pretty good early in that play.
Yeah, it actually looks like the defensive line and the blitz is starting to pick up for both sides of the ball, so we're going to see how good these offenses really are as these defenses start to heat up.
2nd and 16 for the LA Chargers. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left, 1 over to the right. Melvin Gordon in the backfield on 2nd down. They're going to hand it off to Melvin Gordon, and Melvin Gordon's going to get nothing on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long. Bomber, 2 interesting storylines to look at this point. 2 sort of interesting mindsets. Is there going to be a letdown from the LA Chargers after a very high emotional win in the divisional round? And for Pittsburgh, I mean, how much is it in their minds of that loss last year? They were undefeated going into the AFC Championship game and laid an egg. Is that even a factor today for this Pittsburgh Steelers team?
Well, yeah, you know, they lost to the New England Patriots, you know, in the conference round, the Steelers, that is, as they throw it to the outside and just pick up a few. They're going to be punting here. Yeah, so they lost last NBL season 26. They lost in the conference round after they were going for the first perfect season in NBL history. It didn't happen. So maybe it is in their head a little bit, but a lot less pressure now. This isn't a team that went 16-0. They've lost 2 games this year. So this team is a little bit more poised in understanding that it's okay. It's okay. You know, it's okay if things happen throughout this game. We can come back. We've lost a couple, though. That monkey's off our back. and we can try to have this win happen. But this is a different team. Patriots, Chargers, very different. The Patriots were a very defensive-heavy team, run the ball. Chargers similar in that area, but Chargers can sling it. Chargers can throw the ball. And I think when you see a passing attack versus a passing attack, even though these teams are a little different, that kind of thing is going to really change this game. And I think it heavily favors the Pittsburgh Steelers the way they play.
Yeah, I formation now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to hand it off to Le'Veon Bell, try to get him going. So he fights through a little bit of traffic. Nice run there up to the 23-yard line. 6 yards on the play. Bomber, do you worry about the Chargers at all coming off that emotional win, the last-second heroics by Williams and Phillip Rivers? Do you worry at all about a letdown here in the AFC Championship game, or do you think that sort of win coming back out of nowhere gives them a little more confidence than they might have had otherwise?
I'm with the idea that this ownership has brought in this pedigree of winning. And I think they're poised to make choices, make decisions, make an understanding of, look at what happened last week, and that was last week. Let's don't bring it into this week and think we accomplished anything. I think they're taking it 1 week at a time. Yeah, they got lucky. Let's clean up our game so we're not in that situation again, and let's move forward. I don't think this is a young team. You got Phillip Rivers as a veteran. Melvin Gordon, arguably the best halfback in the league. Wide receiver core a little bit young, but their defense is solid, and their ownership is very poised, and they have a winning pedigree. And I don't think that carries over for them. I'm not going to see any kind of letdown this week from the Los Angeles Chargers.
1st and 10, toss underneath. A big missed tackle. Second missed tackle on Martavis Bryant. He ends up getting 5 yards up to the 36-yard line. This half is winding down quickly. We're almost at halftime. Low-scoring 7-6 game. So far, the Chargers defense that was, I don't want to say played poorly yesterday, but Marcus Mariota did a great job against them. So far, they've really contained the Pittsburgh Steelers in a way I don't think most people expected.
Yeah, I think what really hurt him last week in the divisional round was Marcus Mariota scrambling. You'd see 8 seconds in the pocket, and he took off. You're not going to see that much with Ben right now at his age. Veteran leadership, but there goes Le'Veon Bell. He's got a face. There he goes, baby.
He's going to take this one to the house. He's at the 10. He's in the end zone. Touchdown Steelers after we were just complimenting the Chargers defense. Bomber Le'Veon Bell goes all superhuman on them, breaks a couple tackles, and finds the house. That's a 60-yard touchdown run and a big one for the Steelers.
And that happened about 2 or 3 times on that drive. Before that big touchdown run, we saw Le'Veon Bell. His patience is just unmatched. He runs with such a precision, but he doesn't go, he's not turboing. He's not using his speed per se in tight spots. He's keeping his feet moving. He's keeping his head on a swivel, and he's just moving forward, and it pays off for him. And now 18 seconds left. I know Phillip Rivers has some miracles left in his bag, but I don't know if they want to take a chance right now at this point in the game.
Well, that's just an absolute killer because that to me looked like a play where Pittsburgh was, if Le'Veon Bell gets tackled for only a 2-yard gain, they're comfortable to let the clock run out and go into halftime and regroup. But Bell breaks a couple tackles, some bad missed tackles by the Chargers, and Le'Veon Bell finds his way in the end zone. 1st and 10, Rivers is going to throw it. He finds Travis Benjamin on the left side. It's complete to the 41-yard line. They'll take a timeout. 12 seconds to go. They're on the 41, not out of the realm of possibility. They get into field goal range. Going to take some nice pass work by Phillip Rivers, but a nice catch there by Travis Benjamin.
Yeah, with 2 timeouts, they need about 20 yards to get into field goal range. I think they could do it. I think if Pittsburgh comes out and plays this conservative defense and drops people back, it could pay dividends for this Chargers offense.
1st and 10, Rivers dropping back. He looks underneath. It's complete to Williams. And he's going to get up past the 40-yard line to the 38. They're going to take a timeout, have an opportunity to kick a field goal here. A 55-yard attempt, Bomber. Yep, and exactly what you said. Pittsburgh played very conservatively. They end up letting the underneath guy catch the ball, and Williams does what he did yesterday. Turned on the burners and was able to get enough yards.
Yeah, the fact that the underneath and the time in the pocket was so long, that really changes a lot of things.
This is a risky move. They're going to hand it off to the fullback. 1 second, are they going to get it? They do get the time. That's a bold move. 5 seconds to go. Anything can happen on a run play. They get an extra 5 yards, cut it to a 50-yard field goal. But that was a chance I thought was a little risky for my taste.
A well-oiled machine. Los Angeles Chargers owner used to own the Washington Redskins in the last Madden cycle. He has an NBL Super Bowl championship. I wouldn't want to question him. But yes, would I have done that? No. I would have kicked the field goal, but I don't know his field goal kicker's leg. Maybe
he had plenty of leg on that 50-yard.
Yeah, maybe he wanted a 50, a short 50 rather than a medium 50, and it paid dividends. Now they're only down 5.
Yeah, that's big points too, especially as they're kicking off to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 14-9 your score at halftime. Bomber, I don't know about you. I mean, that Le'Veon Bell touchdown was a big play, but I don't think one team has really the edge going into halftime. I think both teams feel pretty good about themselves. I think if you told the Chargers going in you'd be down 5 at the half, I think the Chargers would take it. I think Pittsburgh's pretty happy considering how good the Chargers defense has played.
Yeah, both teams look good right now, but we're about to see a new team. The second half Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a different team. This team comes out in the second half. They're much more aggressive offensively. They kind of feel you out, play a little conservative, don't shoot themselves in the foot in the first half. In the second half, they come out balling, so I expect us to see a completely different game. So the first, I say 2 to 3 minutes, maybe first 1 to 2 drives, we're going to see if this Pittsburgh Steelers Los Angeles Chargers matchup is really going to get interesting.
1st and 10, Ben Roethlisberger dropping back to pass it over the left side, has a man wide open. That man coverage just getting burned right now. It looked like that was man. Yep, it was indeed man coverage. And Ben Roethlisberger and these wide receivers are too good. If you're in man coverage, you just got to find a way to contain them. And your defensive line has got to play better, Bomber. They got to get some pressure on Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, you need pressure on Ben because that's the only way you're going to get a mental mistake from him. You need to pressure him, have him get rid of it early, and maybe have him feeling a little bit not so comfortable in the pocket. But press up on these receivers. If you're going to run man, I need to see a little bit more press on these wide receivers.
Yeah, you give these receivers room, it turns into a bad day for everybody. 1st and 10, it's a handoff to Le'Veon Bell. Great blocking on the outside. He has the first down and more. He's going to get up to the 42-yard line. And look at Le'Veon Bell lower the shoulder. Not something that Le'Veon Bell is particularly known for. Very shifty.
All right, looks like we lost OSU for just a second. But nice throw right there by Big Ben. It's going to be a 2nd and 1 for these Pittsburgh Steelers as they're driving down the field in this second half. Guys, I want to ask you, what do you think this final score is going to be? Give us some score predictions on what you know right now. It's 14-9. Pittsburgh is ahead of the Los Angeles Chargers. As pressure's coming, he tries to get rid of it. It looks like a defensive pass interference not called against Martavis Bryant. Throws his first incompletion of the game. I believe it was on a double move. Hits a double move on the outside, tries to loft it over the top as pressure was coming, barely got rid of it. Kind of a dangerous throw right there for a Big Ben as the pressure's starting to get on him from the Los Angeles Chargers defense. Here we go, 3rd and 1. Big opportunity right now. You know, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, you got to play it conservative, or those second half Pittsburgh Steelers are going to come out and they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. But in the end, you probably do give it to Le'Veon Bell. Here we go, strong formation. Adjustments being made. He's dropping back. They're getting a little bit more aggressive. You thought that they were going to run it, but they decided to pass it. Looks like a flag's coming out. It's going to be holding against David DeCastro. Kind of one of the struggling linemen for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We hear about him a lot throughout the years, throughout this year in NBL Season 27 as a guy that, you know, he holds. And that's what he does. He holds a little bit on crucial plays, and especially when he gets matched up against guys that are putting a lot of pressure on him, stronger defensive linemen. You find him getting in trouble. 3rd and 11. They go to the toss play to Le'Veon Bell. They're trying to pick it up this way. He's got some wiggle room. He gets taken down. I believe that's Jason Barrett with the tackle. Le'Veon Bell down to the 38. It's going to make them have to take about a 53, 54-yard field goal on a 4th and 6. Here goes the field goal right here. This would put the Pittsburgh Steelers up 8 points. They're at the 38. The kick is up, and it is good. Pittsburgh leads now 17-9. Guys, give a 1 to 10. What do you think about that drive of Pittsburgh? I feel like it kind of stalled out once they got past midfield, but they seem to be cooking early to start this second half. Supreme in the chat says 31-17. He believes the Chargers are going to come back and make a run, man. Go on a shutout. OSU, what do you think about that? 17-9. We got a guy in the chat right now saying the Steelers are going to end up losing 31-17 to the Los Angeles Chargers. That's a bold prediction.
That is a bold prediction. I don't know, man. Here's the thing. These teams are so good. I just don't think you can count out anyone. I mean, that's the problem, is that there's so much talent on both these teams. How can you really say one way or another? I don't know if I can predict it even at this point.
Overthrow right there by Phillip Rivers. So what you missed, let me catch you up to get you back into the fold. Pittsburgh was going on that nice run. I think your computer timed out You came back
no, there's thunderstorms in the area. It's nasty
thunderstorms
outside.
in the area.
So we lost our internet. So I'm on my phone hotspot now. It should be fun.
Okay, all right. So
let's roll.
Did you want me to take over the play-by-play then?
No, I got it. I'm good, man.
Good. Well, Pittsburgh ended up settling for a field goal. They had a 3rd and 1. They came out in a run formation, passed it, completed it, but it was a hold on David DeCastro, got him to a 3rd and 11. They ran the ball, ended up just settling for a field goal.
Well, now LA is going to run that little bubble screen to Melvin Gordon. He's got some room out there, but only going to get 6 yards on the play, up to the 31-yard line. Rivers 7 of 9, 96 yards to start this game. A big part of the LA Chargers' success, though. I mean, down 8 at this point, Bomber, and it seems like we say it every week. It seems like it's an obvious thing to say, but I mean, Philip Rivers just can't turn the ball over. That's what it comes down to. No turnovers, and LA is going to have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, and so far since I've been on the broadcast, I've seen Philip make one errant throw. It just happened on an out route on the left side of the field. But so far, outside of that, he's looked pretty sharp. I'd like to see him start taking some deep shots down the field and really test the secondary of Pittsburgh.
3rd and 4 for the Chargers. Shotgun formation, 3 wide receivers over to the left side. Melvin Gordon to the right. Melvin Gordon play action pass. Rivers looking downfield. Lots of time. Flag on the play. Ball comes out. It's caught by what appears to be the right tackle. There's going to be a hold on the play. It's a whole lot of disaster there for the LA Chargers, but it ends up turning into just a 4th down. They're lucky that wasn't a turnover. That was some nice hands, though, by the offensive lineman. Really nice job.
And it's a really different game. You know, last night we saw the Tennessee Titans get that kind of time in the pocket, and what do you see Mariota start doing when he makes 2 or 3 reads and nobody's open? As they bounce it to the outside, big punt return opportunity here for number 36 down to the 49-yard line. But OSU, we saw Mariota. If he got 5-6 seconds in the pocket, he makes 2 to 3 reads, and what does he do? He's out of there, right? He's out the pocket. The second he gets an opportunity to go, he's gone. Philip Rivers, more of a conventional pocket quarterback. He steps up in the pocket, he waits, and essentially became a sitting duck and made his offensive line have to hold, or they're going to let him get blown up.
Yeah, Phil Rivers still took a big hit anyways. 17-9, Pittsburgh on top. Ball's on the 49-yard line. They have great field position, an opportunity to maybe put this one sort of out of reach. Pistol formation for Roethlisberger. He's got 3 wide receivers over the left side. He's got Le'Veon Bell in the backfield as Roethlisberger dropping back to pass. He's got a man wide open. It is complete, and Martavius Bryant, spin move. Get out of here, big boy. Touchdown, Steelers. And just like that, looked like the Chargers were in this game. It looked like the Chargers had an opportunity, but they come out. Man defense once again, Bomber. They can't contain these talented wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious why the Los Angeles Chargers defensive coordinator decided this was the game we were going to see a lot more man defense from the Chargers. I don't understand it. A team with a plethora of weapons. I mean, you got Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, Javier Howard, the rookie, that had 51 catches this year and led the team in touchdowns and receiving yards. Well, he led the team in touchdowns and receptions. So there's so many things that this team can do to you. Why would you decide that, it's time to man this team up? I just don't understand that decision right now. And now they find themselves in a 15-point hole.
Yeah, and this LA Chargers offense, while it is very good, while Melvin Gordon is a very good player, they're not an explosive offense per se. That's not how they're built. They're not built to score quickly. They're built to grind it out with Melvin Gordon, with Philip Rivers. But they're going to have to do something here. Is Melvin Gordon running that little Wildcat? He's got a lot of room.
Oh, baby.
Melvin Gordon looking to answer
oh,
that.
Baby.
Melvin Gordon's got one man to beat. Does he have enough speed? He doesn't. No, he goes out of bounds. But it was a nice run by Melvin Gordon. He's up over 120 yards, and they've got a great opportunity up to the 10-yard line. Melvin Gordon showing off the wheels, Bomber.
And the wheels on the bus go ground and pound for the LA Chargers. Even in the third quarter, even down 15 points with only a quarter and a half left, they don't stop running the ball. You got to love their commitment to that. Now you see Brandon Oliver in the game. Let's see what they got left.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon needed a little bit of breather after that 70-yard run, 1st and 10. Philip Rivers going to be looking to throw this one. He's got all the time in the world, and he's going to roll out. Not showing that Marcus Mariota speed, but he finds somebody in the back of the end zone. It's a touchdown, and the LA Chargers got exactly what they needed, making your play-by-play commentator eat all of his words right there. They are explosive. They can get in the end zone quickly, and LA's got this back to an 8-point game.
And maybe he was listening. Maybe Philip Rivers has the broadcast somewhere in his ear, and he said, that's right. When Mariota had time in the pocket, he made 2 reads, 3 reads, and then he got out of dodge. And that's exactly what Philip Rivers did there. He extended the play and did his best NFL Aaron Rodgers impression, found his halfback in the back of the end zone. Beautiful play and beautiful response for the Chargers, and most importantly, OSU, It only took a minute off the game clock, so we still got a quarter and a half left in this game.
Yeah, so you heard it here first, folks. The LA Chargers come out with a win. It is because of the NBL Network and the great commentary you hear here. That's how good we are here on the NBL Network. Broadcast number 148, folks, the AFC Championship game. And again, folks, if you're looking for that NFC Championship game, that is going to be tomorrow night. Bomber, do we have a time on that one?
Not yet, but I think that might have been the first time I ever heard here.
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 Two different heres. Got to love the English language.
Hey, the king likes that, though. That sounds like something that's, said in
Here.
Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Here. King Bomber
there
is on the
go.
broadcast. Here, King Bomber.
Talking. Yeah, let's cook it up with that. 2:48 left in the third quarter. A lot of time, a lot of football left as in NBL rules. You can't milk the clock till under 2 minutes left in the entire game. That means under 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So we still have quite a bit of time left.
Yeah, this game far from over as Pittsburgh comes out. 4 wide receivers, 3 over to the right, 1 over to the left. Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. To the left of Ben Roethlisberger in the shotgun formation. 2nd and 7 is going to be Roethlisberger dropping back to pass. And down goes Roethlisberger. Big sack there. The second one of the day. They finally got some pressure on him. That one, credit to the coverage downfield, though, Bomber. They had all the receivers locked up, and I think you noticed there, they were not in man coverage, and that's why they had such success covering these athletic wide receivers.
Yeah, see what happened there? Ben was looking at that seam route. He didn't like how the safety came down into that yellow zone and kind of just stunned it on him just a little bit. And that allowed the defensive lineman to get some space and get to the quarterback, and it created that sack, and now they're in this 3rd and long, and this is where the Chargers defense needs to make a play.
3rd and 13, 5 wide receivers, empty backfield for Ben Roethlisberger. We're under the 2-minute mark in the third quarter. Roethlisberger dropping back to pass. The pocket is empty. He's looking over to the left side. A little comeback route is complete to the 43-yard line. Doesn't matter what you do. If you come with 3-man rushes, Bomber, and you mentioned it earlier, a lot of people think, oh, how do you combat Ben Roethlisberger? Well, let's drop 8 into coverage, bring 3. It's the opposite. Ben Roethlisberger gets too much time. He's going to find a receiver.
Yeah, you have to start mixing it up. I think they were a little too predictable in those 3rd and longs in the first half. They were real conservative, and now we're seeing it even more. That's the screenplay they like to run. They've got a corner route on the weak side with the screen on the right. That's one of the favorite patented Pittsburgh Steelers plays. You have to know that if you're the LA Chargers, that was coming at that point.
And that one, it's an easy 2-read play for Ben Roethlisberger. If they're in man coverage, they're going to have that screen covered, so you look for the corner route, and they did there. Safety playing way off the line of scrimmage in Pittsburgh, an opportunity to put points on the board. They're in enemy territory on the 40-yard line. 2 wide receivers, 1 to each side. Le'Veon Bell in the backfield for Ben Roethlisberger, and Roethlisberger's going to hand this one off to Le'Veon Bell. And the Chargers' run defense has been pretty good, save for 1 run. That was a big run, but other than that, they've contained Le'Veon Bell. He'll only get a yard on the play.
Yeah, if you take away the run they had right before the end of the half, which we thought they were kind of just running the clock out and Pittsburgh was going to take the lead into the half. You take those 7 points away, we're at a 16-17 ball game right now. The game was 7-6 at that point too. So this game has been really tight. No team with really much momentum as far as swinging back and forth. I say it's pretty been much evenly matched, and the Steelers are driving again. Each team's starting to heat up now.
2nd and 9. It's a handoff to Bell over the right side, and again, LA Chargers, great penetration early. Able to bring down Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. Going to bring up a 3rd and 10 while we have a brief moment here in the third quarter. Want to give a big shout out, as always, to our pregame sponsor and our graphic sponsor. That's web3ks.com. All business over at web3ks.com. He's one of the best to work with. So easy. He is so helpful. He gets a lot of the custom work you see here on the NBL network. So if you or anyone you know needs graphics done for an affordable price, head over to web3ks.com. They're the leaders in affordable graphic design. 10 here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be hand off Le'Veon Bell right at the middle. He's got a big hole. Just tripped up, and I think he's going to be about a yard short of the first down. He is, and they are lucky that they were able to trip up Le'Veon Bell, because that Chargers team, there was nobody in the box to stop that run play.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh was probably thinking, hey, if we run the ball right here, they're not going to expect it, and it's going to get us a little bit closer of a field goal. Well, the Chargers were really out there playing the pass, and I thought the Chargers needed to make a play there. Get a big stop, kind of push them to a mid-50-yard field goal and hope for a miss. But they give up the field goal. They don't give up the touchdown. So that's positive spin news there for the Chargers. Let's see if they can come back down the field and get a quick score again.
Yeah, we'll see what the Chargers offense can do after they had such a great drive, really highlighted by that Melvin Gordon 60-yard run to the 10-yard line. Phillip Rivers able to toss that one in the end zone from 10 yards out. Now, 1st and 10 as we're nearing the end of the third quarter. And again, folks, if you're looking for that NFC Championship game, that'll be tomorrow night. Give us a follow at Bomber League on Twitter. We'll announce the game time there, or just save yourself the time. You don't even have to check Twitter if you just hit that subscribe button down below. You'll be notified when we go live tomorrow night. And then the Super Bowl Monday night, broadcast number 150 here on the NBL Network. It's going to be a doozy here. One of these two teams is going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. It's on first and 10. It's a handoff to Melvin Gordon. And it turns out when you run into the hands of an unblocked linebacker, it's pretty tough to get anything going.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you are as talented as Melvin Gordon, it's tough to run through 3 to 4 guys on consecutive plays, and it just seems to be like Pittsburgh's defense is kind of shoring up against that run. It might be time for Phillip Rivers to bring out his fourth quarter magic and make something memorable happen, and I think he can do it. I think he's got the weapons to do it, and I think he's got the cojones to drive the ball down the field. See what I did? I was Spanish.
That was nice. That was a little flair for all of our Spanish brothers out there. Second and 10 for Phillip Rivers. He drops back to pass. Blitz picked up perfectly. Looks over to the left side. A little curl route to Keenan Allen. Breaks a tackle, but then he's immediately brought back. Not so fast, my friend, but a first down there. Nice job by the offensive line picking up that corner blitz and a little curl route on the left side to Keenan Allen. First catch of the day. It's a big first down for the LA Chargers.
Yeah, nice throw, nice catch, and it was just a nice route. He sat right in the spot, gave Phillip Rivers a nice big target, and he hit him right on the money. And that's what they need moving down the field. But I want to see a deep shot. I'm ready to see a deep shot down the field, and let's put some pressure on this Pittsburgh team so they can start having a little bit of doubt about this victory.
Well, there's your deep shot looking for Henry, and it's way overthrown. A lot of that I'll do with the fact he had a lot of pressure in his face, but that was the opportunity to do it. Rivers just missed the wide open tight end. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 for the LA Chargers. You wonder if that was their one shot, but at the end of the day, the offensive line just could not contain that pass rush from the Steelers.
Yeah, not enough time, man. The release of Phillip Rivers still, to me,
it's weird, right?
Weird to watch. Yeah,
it's like half sidearm.
Yeah, half sidearm. He leans to the right a little bit. He whips it. Oh, it's definitely a different style.
They're going to go backwards 5 yards with that Melvin Gordon run. Set up a 3rd and long, just what they didn't want to do. Yeah, I mentioned that a couple times. I've noticed it. Just Phillip Rivers, it almost looks like he just sort of flicks his wrist and throws. It's amazing how much he's able to get on the ball with that sort of awkward throwing motion. And that may be what sort of helps Phillip Rivers deceive some defenses because he does not have a traditional throwing motion. Some defenses may find that one hard to read as Rivers play action pass here on 3rd and 15. He's going to look deep down the field, and that one lucky it wasn't intercepted. Probably another bad throw there by Phillip Rivers. Now it's 4th and 15. They're down 11. Put yourself in the mindset of LA. Is this 4-down territory?
No, I don't think so. I think you punted. There's still so much time left. But he might be thinking, we give up this field position, then we stop and they kick another field goal. We're still down 2 scores. We'll be down 30-16, 14-point game. Obviously, it will be 2 touchdowns instead of just, a touchdown, an extra point, and a 2-point. That might be their thinking right now. But 4th and 15, I don't think it's time to do it yet. But maybe this team's just living a little dangerously, and they think they got Lady Luck on his side.
Well, they are going to go for it. The offense is out on the field. It's Phillip Rivers in the shotgun formation. 4 wide receivers, 3 over to the right, 1 over to the left. Melvin Gordon to the left of Phillip Rivers. It's going to be Rivers dropping back to pass here on 4th and 15. Didn't take a shot over the middle. That's intercepted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he's got a lot of room over the left side. He's up to the 20. He's up to the 10. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers. Oh, boy. Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've turned on the afterburners in the 4th quarter. What did they say? 4th quarter, it's Steelers time, and right now the Pittsburgh Steelers in control after a bad Phillip Rivers turnover there. And Bomber, that was the throw that Phillip Rivers just couldn't have made. That was the worst time to have made it.
Yeah, bad read right there by Phillip Rivers, but let's go back a couple plays. He had his tight end wide open on the little nod route, little double move over the middle, and he overthrows him. And that was a wide open man. So 2 knocks right there on Phillip Rivers. We got to see better play from a veteran quarterback. You're only going to go as far as Phillip Rivers' arm allows you to go. And right now it's kind of been detrimental to the success of this offense.
And now we get to the question of, Bomber, it's been floating around the NBL. Is Phillip Rivers done? Is it time for a new quarterback in LA? Does that put them over the top?
Who else do they have?
Well, I mean, the answer is the Chargers find somebody in the draft, somebody maybe in free agency. The name that's been thrown around is that's another overthrow.
Phillip Rivers again, another overthrow.
The name that's been thrown around is somebody who's fallen out of favor with his own team. Could we see Cam Newton in Los Angeles?
Oh man, I don't think Cam Newton's going to go there. I don't think they're going to pay. I'm just going to base this off the history of that current ownership group. They like to draft quarterbacks. They don't like to pay. They brought in Aaron Rodgers, who, remember, about 3 or 4 seasons ago to the Washington Redskins. It did not work out. They brought in a veteran. They paid him, I think, $15 to $18 million a year. They signed him for a couple years. It did not work out in their favor. I don't think they go down that road again, as there goes another big hit. Phillip Rivers' career might be over right now we're watching. Bud Dupree comes in and lays the wood, and he says, sit down, old man. Your time's over. Your reign on the top is over. And the kings of the AFC are sitting back in the throne right now, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
A tough situation, 3rd and 17 now for the LA Chargers. As Rivers looking over the middle of the field, another big hit. Oh, my. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is making a statement today. Another big hit. And this one, the fat lady's not saying, but she's behind the curtain. The curtain's about to open up as they're going to be forced to punt it away to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's my only thought with Cam Newton. I understand the philosophical reasons for not bringing him. I understand that ownership hasn't typically wanted to shell out the money for a star.
OSU, it's going to be expensive. There's a lot of teams out there
that
have interest in them. You got the Jets, and there's a spin move. This guy's saying, hey, you can return punts, and so can we, baby.
She's saying, folks, the Pittsburgh Steelers now just biding their time until they get into that Super Bowl to represent the AFC, looking for yet another Super Bowl championship. Bomber, you are the historian here in the NBL. What would owner Lip be looking for? What Super Bowl number would he be looking for?
This would be number 4.
Wow.
Right now, he's got 3 right now. He's been to 5. This would be his 6th Super Bowl he's been to.
Wow.
He's looking to pick up his 4th Super Bowl title. So, man, some historic stuff. And here, let me also say this. Next season, he's going to be trying to achieve his 300th NBL career win.
Wow.
300 wins. And that's just pretty
That's
phenomenal.
why he's a Hall of Famer.
That's why he's a Hall of Famer right there.
But anyway, let me just say this, and I understand there are going to be a lot of people out there vying for him, and I don't know the cap space for the Chargers, and I know they don't want to shell out for that. But just imagine an offense where you have the opportunity to run a read option with Cam Newton and Melvin Gordon. I mean, that is any owner's dream right there. Add in the fact that that Cam Newton has a gun for an arm and throwing to a guy like Keenan Allen on the outside. I mean, I understand that it probably won't happen. I understand the money may not work out, but I mean, that's something. I know the Chargers like to develop quarterbacks, but that's something I think a lot of fans out there would think it'd be fun to see.
Well, let's take a look at the money. Okay, so Rivers has 1 year left on his contract after this. He's going to be making about $17.5 to $18 million next season. His cap penalty, though, here's where it gets good. His cap penalty is only going to be $6.5 million. So if they released Phillip Rivers, they'd potentially save themselves about $12 million in cap next year. Plus, they'll have some cap available. I think the team's sitting fairly nicely right now with cap. Currently they have salary free of $26 million. So if that continues, let's say some progressed contract, let's say they just keep that with 26. They'll be sitting with the cut of Phillip Rivers. They could potentially have about $40 million. Now, Cam would probably eat up 20 of that. I would say he's probably going to average about $20 million a year is what he's going to get offered. This is a guy coming off probably one of his worst seasons in the NBL, but previously, NBL season 26, he had a fairly good season. So Cam did take the Panthers to the playoffs that year. Had a QBR of 86.1, which is about average. Cam's currently making 15.69. He's 30 years old, so he's looking for the deal to send him into the, to the mid-30s probably. 4 to 6 year deal.
Sure.
It could get done. It's definitely somewhere you go. And if I'm Cam Newton, I say I got Melvin Gordon, I got a good offensive line, and I have great wide receivers. I think Williams is obviously going to be a star. Hunter Henry's a great tight end. You have that format already laid, as opposed to going to a younger team that's still developing and trying to find their identity. That could weigh on his mind. And
one other thing that he doesn't have in Carolina, a defense that really can put up some stops and give your team an opportunity to win.
Yeah, that's what it is. Carolina had one of the worst defenses in the league. I think they were giving up the most points per game.
Yep.
Big plays, and it was big plays. They gave up 28 points per game this year in Carolina. No quarterback is going to want to play for a team that he knows he has to go out there and score 30 points per game to compete. 30 points per game, you should go 16-0, right? So his defense was giving up that much per game, and that puts them at that much of a deficit going into the game, and that's just a headache for any quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, again, as with anything in the NBL, it all comes down to the money. It all comes down to if a deal can be done. But it's a nice fit if they can find a way to make it work. I know the Chargers ownership and Gubb is very wise with their money. They'd rather get 5 players instead of pay 1 player the amount that they could pay those 5 players. But Cam Newton could be a game changer, although this quarterback class coming up in the NBL rookie draft, which looks like it'll probably be Super Bowl on Monday, so probably about a week after that. It'll be interesting to see.
I have a tentative schedule for the. What were you asking about? The rookie draft?
Yeah, the rookie draft is probably the next week, the next Monday, as Melvin Gordon goes for the big hurdle, and that does not go well.
Yeah, actually, we were looking at a draft. If we started re-sign Monday at 10, which that would be the Super Bowl, we have, and this is a loosely based thing. Draft would be about Saturday at 8 p.m.
Okay.
And then we'd have free agency Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then pre-draft from Friday 10 to Saturday 8 p.m. with the draft at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday.
I mean, and the Chargers do have some assets. I mean, you never know what could happen in the draft. The Chargers are going to have a pretty low draft pick because of how well they've played. So as Melvin Gordon puts it on the ground, it's picked up by the Steelers. And this one has been decided for a while, really just in the last quarter. But it'll be interesting to see if the Chargers decide, as it's actually overturned. So the Chargers are going to keep the ball. So congratulations, Melvin Gordon. You didn't fumble it. It'll be interesting to see if the Chargers decide to trade up at all to put themselves in a position to draft a quarterback. There are a couple great ones. I think we're looking at about 5 quarterbacks that could go in the first round. It'll be interesting if the Chargers want to draft up to pick up somebody, one of the more talented ones, or if they'll wait to the second or third round and pick somebody there.
Yeah, I know, and they don't have anybody on their backup that you look at. I mean, they got Cardale Jones, obviously just a plug-and-play guy.
Yeah.
Nicholas Kuechly, never heard of him. Nick Shelton, never heard of him. And Blair Morrow, never heard of him. These
never
are
heard of
practice squad guys that they were trying to develop. Definitely not guys that, you're going to say, hey, that's guy's going to replace Phillip Rivers. So they might hang on to Phillip for one more year because Chargers are in a win-now scenario. They want to win right now. They think they have a team to compete. And albeit they're one game away from the Super Bowl, and they're a couple plays away from this being really close and interesting down the stretch, right? So how far do you deviate from Phillip Rivers just off of this one game alone? I don't think they're a team that overreacts, so it would have to make sense financially. And I don't know. I mean, that's going to be one of the things we said, but I know the Chargers have interest. The 49ers have interest in Cam Newton. So these are teams that are willing to pay a quarterback to come and play for them to change their culture, as opposed to the Chargers that already have that culture in place and are trying to get a quarterback to come in and maybe take a little bit less to be a part of this successful, well-oiled machine.
Yeah, they do have the luxury of having a guy like Phillip Rivers, a veteran who is still very talented. They could stick with him for one more year. With Melvin Gordon in the backfield, that still takes a ton of pressure off you at 3rd and 6. That one's intercepted,
and
second
right
pick of the day. What are people saying in the chat?
People in the chat are saying,
anybody like the Cam Newton to LA rumors? That was started 100% by me right here.
Yeah, I don't know how we got off on that tangent, but I mean, hey, man, that's a good topic to discuss. A team that essentially, we saw the deficiencies of Phillip Rivers today. Not mobile in the pocket. The pocket breaks down, he steps up. So having that ability, which we saw Marcus Mariota do that single-handedly, kept them in the game, and not only that, had them in an opportunity to win the game. And it wasn't because he was making these great throws, and he made some really good throws. But I saw him do some things with his feet on 3rd down that I thought, that's special. That guy's a special quarterback. He's making the right decision. He's calm in the pocket, and he knows when to take off and go. And they don't have that with Phillip Rivers. And they were in some positions today that I thought, if they had Marcus Mariota or maybe a guy like Cam Newton, we see a difference in play style, and it kind of opens up the passing game and opens up those windows a little bit more for those dangerous wide receivers they have. That's definitely a thought, man. That's definitely something to be discussed if they continue to go with Phillip Rivers or they go after a free agent quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. But it sort of came down to a dud at the end of the day, but we're getting down to triple zeros. The Pittsburgh Steelers are your AFC champions and will go for another Super Bowl as they get to the Super Bowl with a big win today. Here at home, they come out on top 41-16 over the Los Angeles Chargers. Big tip of the cap to the LA Chargers and Gub for a marvelous season. They really had a great job there out in the AFC West. Just falling short in the Pittsburgh Steelers, a very worthy Super Bowl representative for the AFC. It's time now to pick our player for the NBL Live Player of the Game. That's here for broadcast number 148. Bomber, a lot of choices out there. Ben Roethlisberger, another phenomenal game. He completed 91% of his passes, 201 yards and 2 touchdowns. You could also make an argument for Le'Veon Bell. His touchdown at the end of the first half really set the tone. And Bud Dupree was a monster in the middle of that defense. I don't know who to go with, Bomber. What do you think?
Oh, man, I think that Le'Veon Bell run right before the first half was so big, and it was the game was, what was the score on the game? At that
it was
point?
7-6.
7-6. He runs and scores and puts them up 14-6. Obviously, the Chargers come back and kick a field goal, but I feel like that cushion allowed Pittsburgh to extend the lead. So I'm going with Le'Veon Bell. I thought he played phenomenal. I thought he made some key runs, and he was just fighting hard all game, and I think he was the real difference maker for this Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Le'Veon Bell, your player of the game selection here for broadcast number 148. You can check out the archives of all of our player game selections out on our website. That's at 365.maddenbomberleague.com. Also there, it's under the NBL Live tab all the way back to broadcast number 1. You can also apply for the Madden Bomber League if you're interested in joining. That's under the Join tab. Bomber, one half of the Super Bowl is set. Now we just got to find out the other half. NFC Championship game tomorrow night. Time is to be determined. Follow us on at Bomber League on Twitter or hit that subscribe button. Bomber, interesting, the Seattle Seahawks, a team who has been called by one very handsome half of highly debatable as one of the weakest Super Bowl champions of all time, actually the weakest Super Bowl champion of all time, an opportunity to get back to the Super Bowl with a win tomorrow, but they got a tough opponent. What do you see in that game?
Oh, that's going to be tough, man. I mean, this is a team that's depleted at halfback, the Seattle Seahawks, that is, versus another team that's the strength of their offense is the halfback. Both of these teams are power run. Both of them, the wheels on the bus go ground and pound, but one's depleted down to a fourth-string halfback right now. Man, I don't know how Seattle overcomes that, but you know what? They have that defense, and guess what they have? They have the heart of a champion. We could essentially be seeing them come back and prove everybody wrong and say, hey,
Russell the love muscle.
Russell the love muscle, and at 8-8, we're still great. Don't hate. We're going to the NBL Season 27 Super Bowl. I don't see it happening, though. I think the Vikings edge them out. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, very tough game. You'll get to see Dalvin Cook, one of the leaders for MVP. He's had a fantastic season in Minnesota, who were able to win the NFC North this year. Should be a great game. Again, folks, game times, head over to our Twitter at Bomber League. Give us a follow there. We'll announce it there, or you can just hit the subscribe button down below. But that's going to do it for us tonight, folks. We appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Bomber, big shout-out. I appreciate you hopping on tonight. A big shout-out to our producer, Delvar. For our producer, Delvar, and my co-host, Bomber, I'm OSU. Once again, the Pittsburgh Steelers, a huge win at home. They will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl as they are AFC champions. We'll see you tomorrow night. NFC Championship game, Seahawks and Vikings, right here on NBL Live.